Welcome back, everyone, to the RedBeard Outdoors podcast. I'm Jonathan, your host, and today we have a special edition of the podcast. Every other Thursday, we do the Why First Phorm and First Phorm Outdoors series because you guys know my reasons for getting into First Phorm, why I absolutely love the community, why I've loved helping First Phorm Outdoors grow to where it is now and where it's going to be in the future. But I want you to get perspectives from other people as well that maybe aren't hunters, maybe aren't people that go out in the mountains of Utah very often. Maybe they just enjoy soaking up some sun rays, going camping, just being outdoors in general, and you can relate a little bit more to that. Either way, I want you to know we want you in the community. And so that's why every other Thursday during this year of 2024, we're bringing on guests that can give different perspectives to that. And Lauren is a amazing example of that. So I met Lauren. I think we were communicating via Instagram prior, and then we met officially at ATA. You came and did the workout, and now she's at headquarters and she's working at headquarters. So she's gone through her own journey. But before we get into all of that, Lauren, for people that don't know who you are, who are you?
Yeah, so I am from originally North Central Missouri. So again, Missouri resident, just like we are here at First Phorm, and kind of grew up definitely in the outdoor industry. My family owns an archery shop back home, so have had that since before I was born. And so definitely grew up in the hunting world, in the agriculture world, showing cattle as well, and was never known as the fitness girl. Was never, I didn't play many sports just because the cattle took up most of my time. And so wasn't seen as the girl that was fit and in shape all the time. So as I went through college, did the things that you do in college, got more out of shape, and then found First Phorm. And again, kind of my turnaround from finding First Phorm to working at HQ is pretty short in comparison to a lot of people. But as soon as I started getting into the brand, started using the products, and then what really got me is meeting the people. Starting at ATA, I knew that this is exactly where I wanted to be, and so that was the biggest goal. And we just charged forward, and now here we are at HQ.
I love it. I love it. And that's awesome. So you've been in the outdoors and showing cattle, which I don't understand that part of farming and the outside outdoors world. That's something that definitely takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience and I have a high respect for. It definitely is not easy to do. But you grew up with an archery family. And so I was the opposite. I didn't have anyone in my family that was into archery. So I kind of had to dive all in head first and figure it out. So how was it being a part of a family that owned an archery shop?
Yeah, absolutely. So from the outside looking back now, I'm so thankful, and it's so cool that I got to grow up in that. I will say, whenever, just as anything, that becomes work. Whenever we have an archery shop, when you're there every single day, day in and day out, people would always tell me growing up, "Oh, how cool you get to shoot every day." But you almost are pushing back a little bit from it because that is work
Mhm.
now. And so I definitely took for granted the opportunity that I had growing up with some of that. But now, as I've gotten older, I'm away from it a little bit. It is so cool to look back and see all of the opportunities that I had, all the family time spent together, whether that be at a 3D shoot or even in the store late at night shooting, just with my brother showing me how to do things, having to put my bow down because I've slapped the trigger too many times in a row, so we're done for today.
Mhm.
Those little things that's really what I remember. That's what I look back whenever I think about my childhood. And so it's so cool to have grown up in that, being able to help other people here at HQ now, like, hey, can you set this up on my bow? Or can you do this? Or can you do that? And I can because I grew up in it and didn't even really know that I was learning all the things that I did learn. And so cool to me to have that background and really grow up in an industry that I have so much passion for and be able to pick up so much
Yeah.
knowledge that I didn't even realize I was picking up.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. And again, you're contributing to the community, being able to help with, the archery side of things. And I still am learning how to set my own stuff up. I mean, that it's not as easy as just picking up a bow and just flinging some arrows out of it. There's a lot that goes into it. And and so that's cool that you had that opportunity, but I can also understand like getting burned out, especially as a kid and not realizing what kind of opportunity you had right there to be able to learn. And do you still shoot your bow? Is that something you still
Absolutely.
do
Yeah,
consistently?
I would
Okay.
rather archery hunt than I'd love to waterfowl hunt, but other than that, I don't rifle hunt too much. I would rather archery hunt. Actually, on my vision board right now is a couple things, but the biggest one being that I want to go on an archery elk hunt with my dad. And so definitely still archery hunt, still love that, still plan on doing big things, having big experiences in that area.
Mhm. No, that's awesome. Now, did you ever get into target archery?
We did a little bit. My siblings both shot competitively, and then
Hmm.
I wasn't as interested in that, and so that's when the showing cattle came into play. But we would shoot some local 3D shoots, but again, that burnout that kind of came in, being the youngest, that's all any of my spare time was wrapped up in either working the store or going to shoots for my siblings. During that time frame of age, I kind of pushed back a little bit from it. And so didn't do too much of the competitive shooting myself, but have been to tons of shoots just being in the industry, and being involved with my
Yeah.
siblings' things.
No, that's cool. In Missouri, is there a lot of shoots that people could look up if they were interested in that area?
Absolutely. We do 3D shoots all over. Um, the Reinhardt 100 is a lot of times in Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
There's at least one location that they do that. So that's a huge one. If you're familiar with the Reinhardt 100, they put on a pretty big shoot there. And then also other like competitive shoots. There's always something, especially through the warmer months that you can get involved in. I know if you just look up online, like archery shoots in Missouri, there's a few different websites for 3D shoots that give you tons of options. And then if it's not in Missouri, definitely surrounding states have several.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's there's so much to the sport of archery. Uh, it can get frustrating, and I can see why people get frustrated by it. But I don't know. I guess I kind of look at it as similar to why people get frustrated with their kids asking the question why.
Mhm.
It's because they're genuinely deep down inside frustrated with themselves
Mhm.
and the fact that they either don't, like in the kid situation, they don't have the answer for why, and they get frustrated with the kid because they're asking a question they don't know an answer to.
Mhm.
But also when I see people get really frustrated about archery, um, and like throw their bows or get excited, get upset about stuff like that,
Mhm.
it's a lot of the internal, they haven't applied what they know they should be applying. And it's one of those things that for me, um, as I delve more and more into it, and I'm starting to get into the target archery side of things as well and care a little bit more about scoring and things like that, it's it's fun. I really enjoy it. And it's something that you work through a lot of things in your mind as you go through your shot process. And it's just there's so much to it that I recommend anyone go. And even if you get a bow from you know, Cabela's for like $50 or less, or $100 bow, something like that. You don't have to go and aim to kill an animal the first thing,
Right.
but I recommend people get into archery. It is a
And
lot of fun, and if you get the right coach, it can help you work through a lot of things in your mind that other sports may not be able to.
right. And that's just it. You don't have to buy the most top end bow to get started. And I will say my brother's one of the best shooters that I know, and he can pick up just about anything and do well because he's practiced enough times. He's shot enough rounds, he's
Hmm.
done it enough. So definitely just as capable to, shoot a target, or if you're going hunting a deer, whatever that might be,
Hmm.
with the bottom of the line bow that you were able to afford as you would be able to shoot with a top of the line, 2000 plus dollar bow. And, again,
Hmm.
on what you were speaking on with, there's a lot of things that go through your mind. And that's something that I definitely recognize whenever we're helping people or getting bows set up, things like that, whenever I was in the shop so much, is that it is a lot. It's overwhelming. You put your shoulders back, move your feet this way, make sure you squeeze the trigger, make sure your bow's balanced. And I can tell whenever I take time off of shooting, whether it was when I was living in Idaho and I didn't have my bow out there right away or whatever that might be. Even myself that's grown up in the industry, when you get back into it, there's a lot of things to think about. So it's overwhelming. People get frustrated, but if you can slow down and take it just as in anything in life, one step at a time, just think of a few things, do these, get this down, and add more to it. It is so much fun and it's so cool to see all those skills come together and just become second nature to you.
Couldn't agree with you more. It's definitely a lot of fun. And you bring up that your brother can shoot just about any bow. For people that maybe your brother doesn't have a YouTube channel, but for people that have watched Levi Morgan, or if you're into any kind of archery, he is one of the best, if not the best of all time, 3D archer out there. And I think he just went to London and won the London ASA as well.
Right.
Like it's insane. He does some awesome shooting. He's very low key, very humble guy, Southern gentleman type deal, but he knows what he's doing. And he did a video where he picked up it was like a 15-year-old bow and put bare bones accessories on it and shot it almost as good as he said he's got his like $4,000 setup.
Right.
And so it's got a lot to do with the archer. It's not all about the setup at all. Obviously, a little bit better gear is going to get you a little bit better at shooting, but if you have terrible technique and you have terrible mindset and all of that, you're not going to be able to shoot very well. So it doesn't matter what you're shooting. But that's cool. That's awesome. I didn't realize you grew up in a archery family, so that's really cool. Where do you want to go hunt elk? What's your kind of your dream place?
So I lived in Idaho for a year last year, and that was amazing. It's gorgeous out there, and I would love to go back there to hunt with Dad. I think that that would be really cool. I'm pretty open. I know that obviously different states there's different, if we're going to draw or preference points, things like that. My dad's not a spring chicken anymore, and so we're going to kind of try to take what we can get with that. But Idaho is ideally would be like my first pick for somewhere to go, just because I have some experience, a little bit of knowledge with the terrain there, and some connections that I know that would definitely be helpful in terms of it, either finding an elk or getting an elk out if we need to. So
Yep. No, that's awesome. And that, honestly, you don't hear that a lot with all the other opportunities that are out there, Wyoming, Montana, Arizona. You don't hear people choosing Idaho I don't think I've ever had anyone tell me that that's their dream place to hunt. So that's cool. That's awesome. It's definitely beautiful country. A lot of, especially northern Idaho, is rough and very thick and rugged. So yeah, that's awesome. And what brought you out to Idaho for a year? I didn't realize you were out here for a year.
Yeah, absolutely. So I took a position with Meat Eater under the First Light umbrella is how I started doing customer service for them, and then kind of combined into customer service for all of if you're familiar with Phelps, FHF brands,
Yeah.
DSD now, and so did customer service under that umbrella. So moved out there for a job, and again, I didn't know anybody in the state when I moved. I just went, kind of took a leap, and it was awesome. It is super gorgeous country. The people out there were great. It's almost like feeling like I was back in the Midwest, And so, yeah, enjoyed that and really, really loved Idaho. Like you said, not many people look at Idaho as somewhere they really want to go or somewhere that they would like to hunt or vacation. And I will definitely be going back to do all of those things.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And that's definitely a leap, especially not knowing anybody. I can relate to that. I came out to Utah that way. Didn't know anybody out here. I'd never been west of the Mississippi River. Grown up on the East Coast there, and it's definitely a leap, but it got me hooked. I'm here to stay. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a beautiful area to come out west, and I love that. Well, that's cool. So now you're back in Missouri. You're working at headquarters, and you're loving the whole family vibe and everything, the community vibe. Some people, it's hard for them to realize like how much work is put in behind the scenes at headquarters. And some people, and I've known some people that got into it and were super stoked on First Form, wanted to get hired, had a HQ position, and then they realized, wow, this is a little too much.
Right.
And it's nothing against those people. They just realized that there's more than just this amazing community of individuals. That community of individuals is a bunch of people that work their tails off day in and day out to make sure that this company and this community succeeds. because they realize what it's worth. So kind of walk us through you've had a couple weeks there now, your experience going to headquarters, working at headquarters, and even why, I guess, behind the scenes, kind of behind the veil there, why you enjoy it so much. Why do you love it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been a crazy ride. Like I said, a pretty short from beginning to end in terms
Mhm.
of when I went to First Form Products, in terms of working here. I knew right away that's what I wanted to do. So uh, I was actually speaking with you at ATA, and you said, "Are you a Legionnaire?" I said, "No," and I wasn't even really sure what that was at the time. And so I thought, I didn't say that, but I was like, okay, I've got to know what that is, because if that's a way for me to get my foot in the door, then that's definitely what I want to do. And so got into that, started the Legionnaire program, and Briley here at headquarters was my Legionnaire coach, and he was amazing. So helpful in terms of my actual role as a Legionnaire, but then outside of that, cared so deeply about me, about my personal life, about what I had going on. And he was really my first tie into knowing that the people here are different. You know, these are my
Mhm.
people, and we say these are my kind of people, and that's something we grew up saying. Definitely the case. And so got more involved there and told him that I wanted to work at HQ. And he not really talked me out of it, but wanted to make sure that I knew that it's more than just a job. You know, if you're familiar with 75 hard, then he said it's almost like 75 hard every day, whether that's making sure that your table is wiped off every single day when you're done, or making sure the wheels on your chair are straight. The little things that are personal development that have nothing to do with your job, but really
Mhm.
have so much to do with your job and the way that you carry yourself and the way that you go about your life on a day-to-day basis. And so he told me all of those things. And typically, maybe that would have been a setback or kind of a scare to somebody. And it almost did the opposite for me. So that really made me know that this is what I want to do, and this is where I wanted to go and be around other people that push you to do better. And I really think that is so much of what life's about. And so decided to apply for, there was a job opening, and went ahead and applied, went through the interview process. And again, the last interview that I had here, Rick and John both told me, you know, let me tell you why you might not want to work here. And we kind of went over all the things again, and that is a lot of work, and it's, you know, so much more than just a job. And again, I knew that this was it. So jumped in, moved to St. Louis. So originally from about 3.5 hours away from here. So it was a move, picked up, moved with, I have a little black lab, and I moved to the St. Louis area. And so while getting familiar with it and starting a new job, definitely was a little bit overwhelming. And the community here made that so seamless, made it so smooth. Everyone made me feel so welcome, made sure that I knew that they're there to help. If it's carrying a couch up the stairs, if it's having a couch because I didn't, and they had an extra one, you know, anything that you could think of outside of my work duties, even, they were there. And so the culture here is seriously like nothing I've ever seen before. The people make the party. And so that definitely is the case here. It's so cool to see how much First Form in general, the team cares about you and your personal development and holding you to a higher standard. And it's,
Mhm.
like I said, it's just so cool to see, because it's so easy to fall off of that. You know, even if that can be your goal every day, is you're getting 1% better in these areas, it's easy to let the other ones slack. And although they
Oh, yeah.
are here to help and here to make you feel great, sometimes you need some tough love, and they're here for that too. And so this really is a family. It was so clear from the very first time that I was at HQ, and definitely know that this is where I'm meant to be.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And you're right. There's a lot of people that would get scared away by the intensity and things like that going on at headquarters, but it's something that you can learn a lot from. You can either, again, get shy away from it or get scared of it a little bit, or you can step up and realize, hey, this is actually going to raise the bar of my own life. Even outside of just work in general, it's surrounding yourself with people that really want to get better, that genuinely want to improve. And there's, of course, that level of competition as well, but it's it's not a tear each other down or I'm going to take that spot from you kind of situation. It's a who can do better. Let's keep doing better together and
Yeah.
lifting each other up. And I absolutely love that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just cool to see. And, we talk about putting an extra cart back if you see it in the parking lot at Walmart. That has nothing to do with work technically, but it makes you a better person. It makes you notice those things. I can't hardly walk past a piece of trash in the parking lot at my apartment now without picking it up and feeling guilty if I didn't. So just the
Mm-hmm.
little things that it really molds you into, even after working here for a month, that I've already noticed a difference in my own personal life. And that's what they want. That's the goal. They don't, although they do focus on us excelling in our career, they also, everyone on the team wants you to excel in your own personal life. And it's so cool to see.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That is really cool. And I definitely appreciate that aspect of it as well. So with that being said, now that people have gotten to know you a little bit and understand who
Mm.
Lauren is, give us your top 3 reasons why did you even why were you attracted to First Form at all? Your top 3 reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, the culture, that was a no-brainer. The people that I had met, the way that they carry themselves, the way that I saw them interact with other people at the ATA, the archery trade show, was so cool. And I knew that that was something I wanted to be a part of. So the culture was definitely my biggest. Again, secondly, is their outdoor team. So not only are they focused on the fitness side, which began to be my life at the end of 2022. I loved that and I got into it pretty heavily then, combined with the outdoor side. So that's my two worlds colliding. And so seeing the outdoor team really start to grow and really start to evolve into something big that's also
Mhm.
combined so heavily with the lifestyle that I want to live in terms of nutrition and health and fitness, I knew that those two things coming together, there could be no better spot for me, I felt, than right here in those two teams. So, another huge part of it. And then also on the outside of that, just the actual nutrition supplement side of things, the supplements I had such great luck with. I've tried several, and didn't have any stomach problems with any of them, anything like that. So the nutrition and the customer service on the nutrition side combined really was the third reason that whenever I got started, they were so happy to reach out and make sure I got everything I needed, make sure that I was covered, make sure I liked everything. And coming from an archery shop background, I'm from a very small town. There's several archery shops in our town. Anybody can sell you a bow, but not anybody could have the customer service that we did. So that's always been very important to me, is the way that companies take care of their people. And First Forum is definitely a company that's setting the bar for that.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. The customer service is um, unparalleled. I mean, I work with quite a few different companies, and they all have good customer service. There's maybe 2 or 3 that would even come close to First Form, if at all. And it's a whole nother experience. And I always challenge people that are listening out there, if you haven't purchased anything yet, or even if you have and you didn't like something, and it's within I think it's the 30-day window or something along those lines. If you didn't like something, reach out to the headquarters team, let them know in
Please.
customer service. And we do have 110% money back guarantee as well. So we do understand that as we are growing into other stores, right now it still may be hard to get hands on a physical product in person, and that can be difficult for people to try something new, and to not or and to be confident in that. But again, 110% money back guarantee, that is unmatched, from my
Absolutely.
understanding. And we don't want you to get something, try it, and be like, oh, I don't like the flavor, and leave it as a pantry princess.
Mhm.
We want you to swap it out for something that you will use and get the
Right.
results from. So with that being said, was ATA your first experience with us in person?
Yes, sir. So the first time that I had, talked to anyone, I had been, of course, following on social media, things like that. But the first time that I had talked with anyone, and really that's all that it took. I
Yeah.
knew from those interactions that this is what I wanted to dive headfirst into. And
Mhm.
like you said, after speaking with you and speaking with everyone there, it was definitely, say, like a life changing experience. Sounds so cheesy, but here I am. It really was.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It's something that when I first, I mean, I interacted with the team for a while, remotely, and felt like I was already part of the group. But when I
Mhm.
first met them, it just felt like it was just a different experience because you can get one person online or one person, remotely, and then you meet them in person, and it's just different. Um, it wasn't that way with First Form, and with the outdoors team. I think the first time that I officially met them was Mountain Archery Fest, and it was a couple months after. It was almost a year after I'd started with First Form. So, um, yeah, it was a pretty cool experience. So for you to, again, you mentioned it's a quick turnaround. I mean, ATA was back at the beginning of this year, so
Mhm.
just a couple months, and you're working at headquarters.
Right.
So that just shows again what's possible, guys. If you really are dedicated to it, you really want to get into it. Being a Legionnaire, feel free to reach out to me as well. If you have any questions on how to become that, what it would take to apply, and to be a part of the First Form Outdoors team. Um, what was, I guess, your experience? You had talked to us, various people in person or in Instagram and such, but when you met the people in person, I mean, was it was it different for you? Was it different? Did you envision something different and you got, a different thing?
You know, honestly, like I would say if it was different, it was better. But for the most part, it's so cool that those are the same people that I saw online, that I talked to
Mhm.
online, that I heard. You know, they're not different. And whenever you meet somebody at HQ, for the first week or so, kept meeting all the people here. And when you meet somebody at HQ, it's almost like you already knew them. It's like you've been friends forever because they are the exact same person as they are on their social media. And that's really cool to me. It's not a fake face. It's not, pretending to be this person or that on social media.
Mhm.
Everyone is so real. And so that was really cool to see ATA just, for one, welcoming with open arms, but then for two, welcoming the same exact way that they had been through the past months on social media. And very transparent through there, very transparent in person, and just really all coming full circle to feel like you're part of the family.
Mhm. No, I love it. I love it. Cool. Well, I appreciate your time, Lauren. I know you've got a lot going on. Obviously, working at headquarters, there's always stuff that can be done,
Absolutely.
and yeah, there's always something that can be done. But guys, Lauren Parks, I'm gonna leave her social media down below. I guess where can people find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely Instagram is going to be my most active spot where I share the most about internally here at HQ and then outdoors both. You'll see most of that on Instagram, on Facebook as well, but really, really pushing forward in my Instagram and where you can transparently see most of me at.
I love it. I love it. Cool. Well, guys, go check it out. Go check out Lauren's story. She's obviously traveled across the U.S. and then gone back to Missouri for a reason. You can also find her on the First Form Outdoors Facebook group. So, guys, if you're in the Facebook group, awesome. We appreciate you. Make sure you're contributing. Let people know what your goals are, what you got going on this summer. Find people in your area that you can go camping with, hiking with, shoot your bows, go out and shoot guns, go out and fish, go out and run a marathon if that's your thing. I'd also recommend maybe going and getting some help if you like to run, but that that's just kind of my thing. But
Yes,
guys,
please
go join the
contribute to
Facebook.
that.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's what I was so nervous about whenever I first started. I got in the Facebook group. I'm like, man, I don't want to post because I don't want people to be looking at me. That's how you make your connections. And that's how you
Mhm.
meet people that you don't even know are close to you with the same goals. And that's how you grow. So please, if you're not in the group, hop in there. If you are in the group, please continue to connect with other people and make yourself known in there so that way that you can continue to grow your brand and then also grow the connections that you have across the industry.
100%. 100%. Yeah, just get to know people, guys. And it's such a great group of individuals. If you're not in the Facebook group, I'll leave that link down below as well. Definitely go over there. Make sure you get entered into the Facebook group. We just ask, I think, 2 or 3 questions just to make sure we get to know who you are and what your goals are, why you want to be a part of the group. But we are over 6,000 members strong at this point and continuing to grow. And so we definitely want you to be a part of that and get to meet some new people and make some new friends. So, with that being said, guys, hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you so much, Lauren, for coming on,
Thank
taking
you.
time out of your day. And also, I'm going to call you out. So apparently she doesn't ever really do her hair or makeup. And she came into headquarters today and they were like, well, why special occasion? So I felt a
Yeah.
little special that she got all done up to come on the podcast. So definitely go check out her Instagram just for that, guys. She earned that. So with that being said, thanks, Lauren. Hope you guys have a
Yes.
great rest of your day. And of course, get out, live your life, and love it.